Script here with another video. So I have noticed these comments now from Adam Driver about his future as Kylo Ren. And I've done videos about this before. I don't see how you can ever bring him back and have people be like, yeah, that makes sense, other than maybe possibly a Force ghost. But that's about it. And so if you do bring him back in a real way, I guess it would appease people like that are into like the Reylo thing. They'd be like, even if it's kind of a nonsensical thing, you know, Rey finds a way to bring him back in the Force because she's Rey and she just can do stuff. They may like that, they may not, but they may just because it's like they just want to see them together or whatever. But let's just see what he has to say here. Comments on whether or not he'll play Kylo Ren again. Speaking on the Smartless podcast via comicbook.com, Driver was asked if there's any chance that he'd someday be reprising his role as Kylo Ren in the Star Wars franchise. They're doing stuff, but not with me. I'm not doing it anymore. When asked if this was because Kylo Ren's story had come to its natural conclusion, Driver replied, yeah. So that sounds like he's saying from his perspective that Kylo Ren's story has come to its natural conclusion and he's not doing it anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. They're doing stuff, but not with me. In other words, they're making more content, just not with me. So does that mean it's over? Does that mean there's no chance? Because I did talk about it, you know, maybe if they're like, hey, here's $50 million, maybe he'd be like, you know what, I'll do it again just for the money. Kind of like Oscar Isaac when he was talking about, you know, they asked him if he'd come back and he's like, well, if I need another house, and then he kind of smiled and laughed.
Cheeky question, but does that reduce the chances of a return for Poe Dameron one day?
Probably, but you know, who knows? I need another house or something.
So, you know, money ultimately talks. John Boyega has sort of pulled back a fair bit now on the idea of coming back to Star Wars. He doesn't need to, I don't think. I mean, he's getting work and stuff. So if I was him, I would just stand by my principles and not come back, even if it was for the money, because he is getting work. Adam Driver's getting work. But again, ultimately, if somebody comes up and says, here's like this gigantic paycheck, it's hard to say no. I mean, even Daisy isn't fond of the sequels. If you want to watch it, I have my Tragedy of the Sequel Trilogy video where I show so many interviews and so many different things from all the different actors, and they all felt like it was a letdown, including Daisy. But Daisy ain't going to make anywhere near the kind of money she could make anywhere Rey is going to get her the most money by a landslide. So I can see why she would want to come back, and being the main character in a Star Wars trilogy does have a negative impact on people's careers historically.
Take these two over to the garage, will you? I want them cleaned up for dinner.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
We saw that happen with Hayden Christensen. He didn't get a ton of roles after playing Anakin. He did get a few, but nothing crazy and nothing like big blockbusters like what Harrison Ford went on to, or even what Adam Driver's going on to. And James Earl Jones, of course, is the voice of Vader. He always had work and had plenty of work after that in many movies, Field of Dreams, what have you. And then, of course, Mark Hamill. He made a good career out of doing voice work, and he's very good at that. And he has gotten some roles, but again, very limited. Never was a big blockbuster person again. Just basically did really important voice roles like Joker and things of that nature. So she coming back to do Rey, whether or not she liked what they did with her character, makes sense because she kind of has to in a way. And even Mark Hamill coming back in the sequel trilogy, I mean, he got paid huge money. There's rumors that him and Harrison Ford got $35 million a movie for the sequel. So he's never going to make that doing voice work. So I mean, I kind of get it. And he did sign up for it before they actually got the scripts because it was years before. And so people say, why didn't he turn it down? Well, you know, I don't know. Ask him. But I'm just saying, you know, based on, you know, because he didn't like what they did to Luke. But again, you know, it is what it is. The 2014 Driver was cast as the villainous Kylo Ren. Yeah, we already know that. Okay, we know about the Rick Eisen show. We've done a video on that he had an overall arc where he goes from kind of not sure if he wants to be bad till the very end he's very bad. Kind of the opposite journey of Vader. Yeah, Vader starts most confident and most committed to the dark side, and by the last movie, he's the most vulnerable and weak. Okay, fine. Okay, so we already know all this stuff. Bottom line is, does this mean he's never coming back? I think here's the other side of it, too, that people have to remember. If he doesn't come back to play Kylo Ren or to play Ben Solo in the Rey movie, I think the Rey movie completely flops. Like floppity-flippity flop. I think it's not going to make a huge pile of money anyway. I think any Star Wars movie now is completely maxed out at $1 billion. There's no shot of them ever getting to $2-3 billion ever again after what they did, or anywhere near that. I think $1 billion is like the very, very tippity top, reaching as high as they possibly could get, the most potential. So a Rey movie without him in it. So now all of a sudden the Reylo crowd, who they catered to in The Rise of Skywalker, because Trevorrow's version did not have that in it, they aren't going to want to watch it because it's just Rey. Like, if there's no Adam Driver, there's no Reylo, it's just Rey. And the people who didn't like the sequels aren't going to want to watch Rey, who in their opinion is way too overpowerful and a Mary Sue and didn't have a character arc. I mean, where's she going to go? She's like the strongest Jedi ever. And who's going to stand up against her? Like, the Vong? Really? You're going to bring that? She'll just touch them all and heal them from the dark side and all this. It's nonsense. So at the end of the day, him not coming back, if that's what this means, I hope that's what it means, because if I was him, I sure as heck wouldn't. It's just a discombobulated mess. And again, watch the Tragedy of the Sequel Trilogy. I have Adam Driver interviews throughout it where he's just like, yeah, it just made no sense. Nobody knew what the heck was going on. Daisy says that. So I wouldn't go back if I was him, and I don't want to see him go back to that mess. His character's done. He's dead. Let's leave characters dead. I don't want to see people coming back from the dead all the time. I'm so sick of it. I didn't like Darth Maul either, by the way, all you people that think I'm some sort of George Lucas sycophant. Darth Maul coming back was cringe. I hated the way they did it. I hated that they did it. If they wanted to do more Maul, they should have done Maul the prequel story Maul, which would have been great. They could have done a whole movie about that, about how he became the apprentice and how he went through the pro. It would have been sick. But instead, they bring him back for Clone Wars. Like there wasn't enough characters in Clone Wars. Like 50 million main characters. We got to bring Maul back. Anyways, whatever. It is what it is. So at the end of the day, the Rey movie is going to absolutely bomb, I think, without him in it. I think that was the only shot of it having any success, which is super interesting. You guys let me know in the comment section what you think. Is this the end of him being part of it? Do you think they could maybe suck him back in with enough money? Or is he the type of guy where he's like, I just don't care, I don't need it? Do you think the Rey movie's gonna flop even if he was in it? And if he isn't in it, do you think it's for sure gonna flop? Or do you think it doesn't matter? Let me know in the comment section. As usual, please like and subscribe if you like this content. It really helps the channel. And check out any of my other stuff about Star Wars, including the Tragedy of the Sequels, which I will link in the description. Once again, thanks for watching. Have a really, really good day.